This video was filmed in the West End of London when I was there on a short trip recently. What I'm going to talk about are some of the security issues you need to take into consideration when driving in a busy urban area like London or any other major city. And these security considerations will apply whether you're providing close protection services or you're just concerned about your personal security. You can see from this video that the roads in London are very, very tight. You've got very little room to maneuver. In a lot of the roads, there's just the space for one car to go one way. And this is an issue for navigation because you have to know where the one-way streets are. You can see from the markings on the road that most of the speed limits in central London are about 20 to 30 miles an hour. So you're not going to have the speed to be able to do any sexy turns or any sexy maneuvers like J-turns, but you wouldn't have the room to do that type of stuff anyway. That's Hollywood, that's bullshit, it's fantasy. But people like to see that stuff and it sells courses. In reality, it's not got much use, especially if you're operating in places like London. So with all defensive operations, be it close protection or just general security, you got to think, how are the bad guys going to target me? How are the bad guys going to target my client? You have to understand how the bad guys are going to operate if you want to counter them. You can see from this environment, it would be very easy for the bad guys to ambush a client if they knew their routes, if they knew their routines. So if your client's car or the criminal's target was boxed in on these roads, there's not much they can really do. They can drive forwards, they can drive backwards, and hope their vehicle had enough power to push past the cars that's blocking them in. One criminal tactic to get people out of their cars is just cover them in gasoline and threaten to set the cars on fire. The person in the car that doesn't really have much choice, especially on roads like this. Again, part of your threat assessment needs to be, how long would the police response be? In central London, the police are good. They'd be there in a few minutes, but a lot can happen in a few minutes. A lot of negative things can happen in a few minutes. If the criminals are wise, they would have worked out the police response time. They would have also worked out traffic flow and congestion, and what are the best times to attack their targets. Just like the criminals, you need to understand traffic flow and how the traffic's going to be at specific times of day on specific roads. If you're working with a regular client in a regular area, this is a must. Another thing you guys and girls watching this need to understand and take into consideration is that firearms in UK for personal protection or close protection or any type of self-defense are banned. So as with the sexy Hollywood driving techniques, you can also forget about the gung-ho shootouts. So you must vary your routes as much as possible, but that can be difficult on tight roads in busy urban areas because your routes are generally very limited. You want to vary your routines as much as possible, but again, this can be difficult if your client or you have a set work or exercise routine. One thing you can see from this video is the stoplights at the intersections were very long. These would be ideal ambush locations for a criminal that knew your routine and knew your routes. They would just need to stake out the lights and wait for you to turn up. You can see here as we came to park up, we drove down the road slowly. We're watching. We're looking for people that are acting suspicious. We're looking for people that's hanging around. We're looking for people waiting in parked cars. As we park up, we reverse park. That way we can see and we're watching for anybody behind us. Yes, there's a group of people on the pavement, but nobody knew we were turning up. So if people don't know your routine, they can't set up on you. You can see across the street, we have a white van waiting. Okay, that's something we need to keep an eye on. Instead of getting straight out the car, we wait. The car's wheels are facing out. All we have to do is hit the accelerator. There's enough space between us and the car in front of us so we can get around it if somebody tries to attack us, carjack us, etc. By waiting, we're observing. We're checking the body language of the people on the street. We're observing the van across the road. We're observing what's going on behind us for anything suspicious. We see something suspicious, we're getting the hell out of there. For me, the most basic and essential skill for personal security and close protection is understanding counter surveillance. You must always be aware of people watching you. You must always be aware of people following you. If someone's following you, you should have SOPs in place of what to do and how to react. This is very, very basic, but it is something that people, supposed experts, still don't understand. If the bad guys don't know your routes and they don't know your routines, it makes it very difficult for them to pin you to a specific place so they can target you. If you're performing your counter surveillance drills, you should identify quickly if you're being watched, if you're being followed. These are basic and essential skills. They're not as sexy as running around a gun range shooting up paper targets, but this is the stuff that will keep you alive.